in a different location, the more unhappy you get. Now, this may be strange for you, but let me make a very important statement, which is also a document which was released by two PhD doctors. They said something very, very interesting. And that is, and one more thing, what happens is the more you wander away, the more time is wasted. I want to just give you one example which happens probably with everybody. And that is, you're in a conversation, in a meeting, or you're doing some work, you're doing some project or whatever thing, and you get a call or somebody disturbs. And they pick up the call and then instantly they say, "Oche, credit card nahi chahiye, jo bhi hai," and then they put back the phone. And the most of the conversations restart with, "Haan, main kya bol raha tha? What was I saying?" So if you can relate to that, can you relate to that? Lot of times, lot of people, they come up and say, "Haan, main kya bol raha tha?" when they restart a conversation. Now, what happening is people simply get lost because of so many things. Not only their mental energy getting lost, their time also getting lost. And time is money, by the way. And there's very powerful statement here. The wandering mind is an unhappy mind. This is actually not just a statement. This is a document which is given by two PhD people, Killingsworth and Gilbert. You can actually Google this. And wandering mind is an unhappy mind. The more the mind is wandering here and there, the lesser and lesser happy it is, or more sad it gets. The reason is, okay, so the reason behind that is, the nature of the mind. Let's look at the nature of the mind. The mind is always either in the past or in the future. It's always running. That's how the nature of the mind. Now, what happens most of the time is, because it's running here and there, few things happen. First thing is, the present is a scapegoat. That's the biggest disaster which happens. The second reason is, because the mind is wandering here and there, because of its natural setting, the mind will park itself only on negative most of the time. I don't say all the time, but most of the time the mind is parking itself in negative. Arey yaar, auto wala 200 rupees zyada le liya. Oh, what if tomorrow the project doesn't take place? Oh, this guy has insulted me. Always something negative is what the mind is happening, either imagining negative or remembering negative. And because of this, there's a lot of energy which gets sucked in and people become unhappy. And this is a very interesting document which you can actually find and read. So if you want to be on the next level, it is always better to work from now. That always works. All right, so let's move on. And this is one interesting statement, which is, what consumes your mind controls your life. So I just want to ask a very quick question. Why improve focus? Any ideas, anything you want to share? Why improve focus?
Because we want to achieve most of the things we desire, so we need to have focus.
Perfect. Anything else which you can which anybody want to share?
Because whatever you focus on expands.
Amazing. Whatever you focus on expand. That's so true. And in fact, there's a lot of articles also which are on that. Whatever you focus on expands. And okay, I think there's some technical thing which happened. So all right, so here we are. Just give me a sec. So I'm just opening the slide. All right, cool.
You have to share your screen.
I think. Yeah. I'm just sharing it. So actually I got disconnected from that. So now I'm sharing the screen.
And okay. You will not ask where were we?
Of course I will not ask. That is a good one. I like that. Okay. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah. Yes, we can see.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes,
so what consumes your mind controls your life, and why improve focus? Whatever you focus on impacts. That's very much. Thank you very much, Maniji, for that. Is there anything else apart from that? Of course, that is very, very true. But is there anything else which you can think of?
Presently, Anandji, I feel that we are living in a world of distraction. However, we want, जितना focus करने की कोशिश करें, उतने ज़्यादा distracted होते जा रहे हैं.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And if I can have a savior in my life to tell me, you're getting distracted and this is how you can focus, I think this is the need of the hour, because we've got too much on our platter these days.
Absolutely, and I'm sure most of you remember your earlier days where there was only one channel and people are actually watching Krishi Darshan without crying. How to rear pigs, how to, what kind of fodder the cattle will eat. And nowadays, if people want to watch a movie, it's a pain. DDLJ चल रहा है, Pro Kabaddi चल रहा है, Spider-Man 3 चल रहा है, which one to go? So many distractions, thousands of them. And let me tell you something interesting. Today, the distractions definition will change for you. And you will have a lot of leverage. That's my commitment. In a short while, we'll discuss on that. Okay. Another thing I want to share is now why you want to focus is simply because the results. Whatever you do in life, whether you're preparing coffee, whether you're performing a surgery, whether you're driving, your results are directly proportional to the amount of focus which you can put in. So that's the reason why you got to focus. So let me give you some ideas. And this is one of the most beautiful things which I've seen in terms of definition on focus. And it's very beautiful. So follow one course until successful. It cannot get simpler than this. This is not what I have created. I've seen this on Facebook. And if people can just do this, follow one course until successful, that's the super mantra. And unfortunately, that's not that easy. But let's see some ideas and strategies which can help us do that. But this is, I think, very, very powerful. So I thought I should share this in the beginning before we actually technically deep dive into it. So here we go. First thing I want to ask from you. Now, what I've done is I've done on why, how, and what. So why things happen, what can you do, and how you can improve. So there'll be 3 sections. Is that okay? Great. So the first question, you have to understand, why is it difficult to focus? Any idea, please? Can somebody share some ideas? Why is it difficult to focus?
I think maybe the task which we are doing right now is somehow boring, and we want to get distracted because something is very exciting going on in the backyard or something exciting. We never know if there's some message at the moment the tinkle, it happens. And we're like, okay, there's someone missing us or some message, some important, some emergency. Oh, we should see that. So we would love to get distracted sometimes.
Thank you, JJ. And in fact, I want to share something which is very, very powerful, which will be a very big insight for most of you probably. And the rule of the mind. I mean, there's a big science behind it. The time is not sufficient, but let me give you the rule of the mind. And the rule of the mind is anything other than what you're supposed to do is more exciting, period. Anything other than what you are supposed to do is more exciting. So, I mean, if you look at the students' part, studying, anything other than study is more important, more interesting. Like there's a window there, they can watch blankly for eternity compared to reading 10 minutes of chemistry. Now, if I'm supposed to be doing PowerPoint presentation, Netflix is inviting me. All right. So anything other than what is supposed to be done is more interesting, and there's a reason behind it. The reason is there's a conspiracy. If the time permits, I'll share the reason. Okay. Okay. Thanks, JJ, for that. And any other reasons?
I think the attention span is so screwed up these days कि वो small bouts of pleasure चाहिए होते हैं. You know, my WhatsApp notification has come. I'm too eager to read that notification and leave my.
Sure, I get that. So that is called FOMO, F-O-M-O, fear of missing out.
Yep.
All right. The world has been taken by storm by FOMO. I mean, that is there. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's quickly go on, but I want to introduce to a couple of people who has no problem in focus in whatever way. So is it okay to introduce you a couple of people who don't have any problem in focus?
Yes, of course. Please go ahead.
Okay. So here you go. These people, they don't have any problem in focus. And I can also introduce some other people. These people don't have any problem in focus. This guy, when he's in the middle of the game, he will never think that let me send a message to my girlfriend that 5 minutes mein nikal ke aa raha hu. He will not think about when the COVID is going to finish. He will not think about what's happening in the business and what politics are going on. He is very much into it. Now, why I'm saying this or why I'm showing this is because for them, it is life or death.
Exactly.
Right? Now, what generally happens is there is no such life and death situation for us in real life, in day-to-day life, or at least that's what we perceive. Now, let's say, for example, you're listening to a webinar, so you're giving a class, and I'm listening, and I fall asleep. What do you do? At the most, you will say, Anand, get out of the class. Maximum. That's all. You'll not kill me, right? So there's no life and death. So instead of people asking themselves why I'm not able to focus, if we can ask why I'm not taking this as life and death, the answer would be there. So people's priorities is a problem, not the focus. Capacity is not the problem, priority is the problem. But having said that, let's also see some tools. Let's move on very quickly and also look at some ideas from you. We'll just spend a couple of minutes on that maximum. What impacts focus according to you? And impact here is neutral. I mean, it's positive, negative, doesn't matter. You can tell me what impacts focus positively or negatively, doesn't matter. So some ideas very quickly you want to share. Either positive or negative, doesn't matter. What impacts focus?
I think focus, if it is applied on the positive side of the ideas, it impact positive. Otherwise,
no, Rishabh ji, not that. Aapka focus, what impacts focus?
Nutrition.
Nutrition, okay. Nutrition is one thing. Good nutrition is, maybe you'll have good focus, maybe. Yeah, nutrition is one. Anything else which you can think of?
Hamara interest in that subject.
Interest in the subject, of course. If you're interested, the focus is high. No need to explain that in detail. Okay, can I give some answers, please?
Maybe some sort of deadline, urgent or importance.
Okay, goals and priorities that impact. Okay, let me give you some more also. You can keep thinking.
Too many priorities.
Sorry?
Too many priorities.
Too many priorities, fine. So here are some things which impact focus, just to give you an idea, your work habits, the way you sit down, how you work, it's going to impact focus. Your emotional state, are you happy, are you sad? Your goals, do you have goal, you don't have goal? Your physical comfort, is your chair comfortable? Is the AC working or light coming into your eyes? Your mental attitude, are you a person who is generally, cribbing, or a person who is generally happy? Your environment, your willpower, your mental awareness, your sleep. In a nutshell, anything and everything, what you do and what you don't do is going to either add to your focus or subtract from your focus. Everything impacts focus. Everything, period. Everything. All right. Now, it's a very good news actually. A lot of people think, but it's a good news, because if everything is impacting focus, the best thing is you can start anywhere. So what can you do is do a little bit of fine tuning here, fine tuning there, fine tuning here, fine tuning here, and you'll get your focus back. So, so here is something on what focus impacts. Focus only impacts 5 areas in life. 1 is work, 2 is relationships, 3 is emotional health, 4 is physical health, 5 is personal development. And according to me, ye chhod ke koi life hai hi nahi. This is the sum total of life here. Everything you do, you don't do impacts focus, and focus impacts everything in your life. So that's the reason why I always say, if you have only luxury of, enhancing one skill in your life, that should be focus. With due respect to all other skills, which are very, very important. But if you can start focusing, everything else will add more value to your life. But focus is critical. So you get everything, but you don't have focus. So it's complete collapse. So let's move on. And let me give you ideas on training your focus. That's what the whole idea about now. Now let's look at the basic raw material. So I'll go from basic to bit of advanced, but will not go too advanced. But yes, some basic things also required. Now why I talk about basic things is because a lot of people don't even discuss basics, right? The first thing is willpower. Your focus is directly tied into the capacity of your willpower. If your willpower is a raw material. So I just want to ask you one simple question. What is that you have done in the last 6 weeks or 6 months, which goes into directly enhancing your willpower? Is anything which you have been doing?
Yes, Anant, I have decided to not to eat after 7 o'clock. So
Amazing.
that is the test of willpower.
Oh, great, great. Because you have kuch bol rahe the?
Yeah, I started getting up at 5:30 in the morning and started going for gym.
Amazing. So at least people are doing something, but there's a lot of times people don't do a lot of things for willpower. And unless willpower is not there, the bank of willpower is not high, getting focused is little bit difficult. So every day do something which goes into willpower. It can be, skipping your coffee. That could be one simple thing. Or waking up 10 minutes before. Or, not seeing WhatsApp for the next 15 minutes. Now that's a willpower. Small acts. You don't have to turn, move heaven and earth together. Small acts. So small things will add to a very big thing. So small acts are good enough. Second one, goals. As DJ was saying, you have goals, then you will be focused. And the people who have goals, their focus is definitely higher because their GPS is activated. If I want to get out of the car and I don't know where to go, I can drive the day long and I don't arrive anywhere, my petrol is also over. Whereas the people who have goal with the least effort and optimum energy utilization, they'll be able to go there. And that's where the focus also will help them. So goals fuel focus. Because the moment you have a goal, now let's say for example, we're having a conversation. All right. Somebody comes up and says, Anand, let's have tea. I would say, boss, till 8 o'clock, I'm sorry, because I have a goal here to finish. If I got nothing, I will be looking for who is coming and inviting me for tea so that I have a legitimate reason to quit that laptop. So goals actually have an impact. Then your purpose, your why are you doing what you're doing? That is also very, very important. So these are like general stuff, simple stuff. Now let's get into other things also. Okay, the other one which I want to tell you is intention. Now this is very, 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 very important. Now I just want to ask you one question. You met a lot of people, you have attended some seminars, you've read books, you've been into meetings. I just want to ask you one question. Please introspect yourself and think about this. How many times did you consciously intend that I want to focus on what this guy is talking about? I want to focus on what I am reading. I want to focus on what the documentary is all about. People don't intend consciously. They'll say, okay, I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening. But then the intention is not there. When the intention is not there, there will be no convergence, there will be no action. Now, only when intention is there, the next step is we may qualify to take action. We may. It's not that we will. But if intention is not there, it's totally things are missing. So that's about the intention part. All right. So next one I would like to share is the intention. That is what leads to action. So when you intend, there is a possibility that the convergence happens. Oh, I want to read this book focusedly. So what happens is there is something which I call as DAD. That will build up the moment you have intention. DAD will build up. DAD is defense against distraction. जब intention strong है, distractions अपने आप repel हो जाता है. जब intention ही नहीं है, we are like, okay, come, I am waiting for you. All right. So this is some simple thing. Intend and see the magic. You don't have to do a lot of things. The capacity is already installed. This is the intention installed. That's the question. So let's move on and go to the next one. Any questions, any ideas you want to share so far? We'll go to the next section and I'll give you some ideas, doable things which can be done.
अनंत, I just want to discuss a problem कि बहुत सारे काम मैं करना चाहता हूँ, लेकिन उसके लिए आगे से आगे वो टाइम मतलब करने की इच्छा होती है लेकिन एक्शन नहीं आ पाता है. तो इज इट लैक ऑफ इंटेंशन और लैक ऑफ समथिंग एल्स?
एक काम करते हैं इसके ऊपर, अगर टाइम परमिट करते हैं लास्ट में लेंगे क्वेश्चन और else we can definitely do one to one.
Sure.
ठीक है ना सर? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, let's move on and let's get into this topic of managing the mind. And Maniji has used one word which most of the people had in the head but they did not use, or maybe the mics were mute, and that was distraction. This is what is ruining life of people. Do you agree to that?
Yes, so true.
So true. Right. Let's get into this. People say it is age of information. Yes, of course it is age of information. However, if you're not trained enough, it's age of distraction. You have multiple buzzes in the mobile phone. You don't know whether it is from LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever thing is that. So many things keep on buzzing all the time. I mean, it is like too many distractions. Now, don't you think it's a good idea to understand the word distraction before we go and fight with it? So a lot of times what happens is people want to fight with something without having a proper definition. And that's where people get, lost. So let's see. So you want to manage distractions. So you want to manage distractions. It is a good idea to know what is a distraction in the first place. So for an academic discussion, is it okay? Would anybody like to share what is distraction according to you? I don't want example, I want definition. If anybody can help me. लोग बोलते कि distraction काफी हो गया है. एक चीज क्या है distraction? Everybody is talking about it. I don't want example. I want definition. Mani ji, yes.
I think Anand ji, अगर मुझे खुद के लिए define करना है, then I would say something which gives me immediate pleasure with no productivity.
Amazing. Oh wow, that's very good. So वही वहां पर चलेगा ना कि anything other than what you're supposed to do is a distraction.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for that. Anything else you want to share? Any other example? Any other, not examples, or any other definition? Okay, so the most favorable or most valid definition of distraction is here. Something that splits my attention from the activity I am intending to do. Something that splits my attention either partially or completely, which takes me out of it, is called a distraction. Let me give an example. I am talking to you, that's my intention, is to talk to you, and the phone buzzes. So it is either partially or completely taking away my attention. So that is called a distraction. Is that okay if we can say that? So if you can say that, so you can give a thumbs up or you can give whatever, so that I know that we are on the same page. Okay, so all of you agree to that. Great. So let me tell you something interesting. The definition which you said so far, which you agreed just now, that is what is the major problem which is actually creating mess in the life. Because the definition itself is disempowering. I am not saying it is wrong, because the dictionary also says the same thing. Something that splits your attention partially or completely from the activity which you are intending to say. The words may differ, but this is what people say, what dictionary says. It is not wrong, but it is very much disempowering totally. Now let's see why it is disempowering. Anyway, this is a distraction. So as Manish has put it, this is also there in the definition, interestingly. Whatever gives you pleasure rather than the work which you want to do. So that also is a distraction as well. Now let's look at this part. Something that splits my attention. Wow, this is the key word. Sorry, this is the key, something. Now, without saying anything, we are actually saying, I have no problem. The phone is buzzing. मेरे phone में कोई problem है. Something other than me is the reason. So what is happening is, without even saying, we are saying I am better than Gautama Buddha, but you know, the guy has dropped the glass. I am better than Gautama Buddha or Vivekananda together, but my phone is buzzing. Or there's noise from the outside room, or a thought came up. So what is happening is, we are putting the responsibility on something else. Because of that, we have no power. As simple as that. And that's the reason why we're not able to fight a distraction. If that was distraction, if that definition was distraction, that something that is splitting my attention is a distraction, if that was correct, there are only two ways of handling distraction. Way number one, I don't know whether it is logical, ethical, moral, I don't know, but there are only two ways. One is kill everybody. So there is no something left to disturb you. All right. Two is migrate to Mars, assuming that there are no aliens. All right. So that is where again you don't have something. But otherwise, you are living on here. There is something which is always existing. And if you are putting the thing on something, we will not be able to handle it. So we have to take it into our hands. So I offer you a different definition. Distraction is your response to happening. Is that okay in saying? You can consider this. It is your response. When the word response comes up, you have a choice either to respond or not to respond. Now the phone is buzzing, but if I have this as my theme, I may decide not to respond, then it suddenly stops happening in my life. As simple as that. Distraction is a choice Distraction is not something which is actually taking you away. Distraction is a choice if only we have this theme as this definition as a theme. It will give you instant power. You can see that. I mean, if you can understand this, now somebody is shouting outside. If you don't respond to it, over. It's not happening in your life. As simple as that. You will get power back by doing this. So this is distraction. So now let's get into, does this make sense? Okay, great. Thank you. So let's move on and see some more. And this picture actually gives you whatever you want to learn on focus. You can learn from this one picture. Now this guy is playing football and there are 1 lakh people or more here in the audience. They're all shouting, but this guy's focus is not hurt, not at all deterred. Not because he's Messi, not because of 20 years of experience, or not because of patriotism. It's simply because he has chosen not to get distracted, period. He's not deaf for sure. I suspect at least. All right. 1 lakh people shouting, he can still focus because he knows that it is his choice. And let me tell you one thing interesting. If this guy for 1 second wants to listen what 1 lakh people are shouting, he will get a heart attack on the spot. As simple as that. 1 lakh people shouting. If 25 people in a classroom, a teacher is not there for 15 minutes, they can actually bring down the roof where people are supposed to be silent. 1 lakh people in the stadium. Maybe that's the reason the stadium have no roof. The roof, I mean, it will collapse. As simple as that. I mean, scientifically, it cannot hold. The roof cannot hold resonance. It will simply break away. I don't know, maybe. But then this guy can do it. And look at this picture. The photographer want to take this picture, and this is very clear, and the background is buzzed out. I mean, it's gone, right? Now that is what is focus all about in life. When you focus on something, rest all will be eliminated automatically by default. They will start losing their priority. But then you have to activate that by a conscious thought of making a decision that, yes, I'm wanting to do what I want to, intending to do, not something which is going outside. So this is one thing. And now let's talk about money. Is it okay to talk about money?
That's the first thing. You should have started with it.
So the best things are kept for last, GJ. All right, so let's talk about money. And this money, I'm going to talk about the raw material behind the actual money. I'm not even talking about the money. I'm talking about the money behind money. That's a mental currency. So like you have physical currency, you have mental currency as well. There's mental currency. And like you have denominations in physical currency, there are also denominations in mental currency. But there's only one difference in physical currency and mental currency. In physical currency, you can choose denominations. Now, let's say you have got, buy this phone, say 15,000 rupees. You can choose to pay in 2,000 rupees notes, 1,000 rupees notes, 1 rupee note, or coins. Doesn't matter. Or you can choose a combination of all those things. But in the mind space, you will have to put up your energy in all the denominations available, and there are only 5 denominations available. And let me tell you, where do you put this expenditure? Like physical currency, you can buy a towel, you can buy a phone, you can buy membership in a company, you can buy shares, you can do whatever. But where do you spend the mental currency? Mental currency is spent out every single minute of your life. Every single minute. And like physical currency, the mental currency is also limited. I am not saying it is not sufficient. I'm saying it is limited. I may have 10 lakh rupees. Somebody may have 50 lakh rupees. Bill Gates may have 200,000 lakh rupees. But that's a limit. So that's a limit. So I mean, that's the sum total. Now you have to understand that you are spending out currency every single moment. And where do you spend your currency on? On your thoughts. Every thought is an expense. The thought can be a simple thing. I want to eat a burger today, or I want to construct a building next to the Twin Towers. It can be a small thing like I want to buy a burger, or I want to buy a building. The mental energy will be spending, and you'll be spending in 5 currencies. So let's very quickly understand what are those currencies all about. Now, the first currency is called space. So every thought occupies space. Every thought occupies space. All right. And there's a limited space. There is limited space. Second one is every thought occupies energy. Every thought occupies energy. Third one, every thought occupies emotion. Every thought, like the moment I think burger, हाँ मजा आ गया. Oh, I want to buy a building. Oh नहीं, Donald Trump तो visa नहीं देगा मुझे. I mean, some emotion will come out whether you want or you don't want. So there's emotion which is an expense, and every thought will occupy time and also attention. Okay, so let me repeat for you: space, energy, emotion, time, attention. These are the 5 currency, and every thought occupies that. And to remember all those things, you can actually remember one word, and that's called Sita. S-E-E-T-A. S-E-E-T-A. Sita. All right, and one thing in your life you have to work on all the time is you have to save your Sita. Your Sita is your bandwidth. Your Sita is your energy. Your Sita is your investment. Now, please don't let Sita go wasted. Don't let Sita go here and there. So you have to protect your Sita. But you know, there's a technical problem. Do you know what's the problem? From times immemorial, Sita is prone to hijacking. All right, even now also Sita gets hijacked. Now how do Sita get hijacked? Somebody calls, Sita gets hijacked. Somebody knocks the door, Sita gets hijacked. You get a thought ki payment hua ki nahi hua, Sita gets hijacked. You're thinking about, yeah, what's my next meal mein kya karna hai, Sita is hijacked. Every thought, Sita getting hijacked. So let's talk about the story for a minute. So in the story, let's go back to Ramayana. ऐसे क्या होना था अगर कुछ हुआ तो Sita would have been safe.
If Sita would not have crossed that Lakshman Rekha.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Jijin. Anything
if
else?
Sita would not have get distracted to that golden deer.
अच्छा ठीक है sir, good है. I just want to listen a couple of more if you can. Interesting है.
वो वनवास ही नहीं जाती तो राम के साथ बच जाती.
ठीक है. Okay, good, good. और maybe some people also said कि राम को बाहर नहीं जाना था डियर के पीछे.
वो लक्ष्मण को जाना था.
लक्ष्मण को जाना था. ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है, बढ़िया. So you know, fortunately, unfortunately, we don't have a say. It has already been happened. So let's see what could have been done to save Sita. All right. It is not the problem of Ram. It is not the problem of deer. उस दिन में भी डेयर का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आज भी डेयर का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. दुनिया में कुछ भी होता है, आपके ऊपर कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है. राम का प्रॉब्लम इसलिए नहीं है कि आई मीन इफ द वाइफ आस्क्स समथिंग टू बी डन, द हस्बैंड हैज टू डू इट एज ए यू नो एज अ पॉलिसी. ऑलराइट, or has to keep in good books. So उसका भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
You can't lose your focus then.
He lost her focus.
नहीं, the problem is with this guy Lakshman. लक्ष्मण ने गड़बड़ कर दिया था, उसके वजह से सीता हाईजैक हो गया. राम ने बोला भाई तुम यहाँ रुक. But what this guy has done is he has invented something that those days which we are still paying the price. He has invented something which we these days fondly call as जुगाड़. जुगाड़ में जुगाड़ काम नहीं कर रहा जी.
That Lakshman Rekha is a जुगाड़.
मैं नहीं रहूंगा लेकिन मेरा जुगाड़ रहेगा यहाँ पर. तो शॉर्टकट बना के चले गए ना, और क्या.
Right.
That's a जुगाड़. ठीक है. So he has made some जुगाड़ and he left. And today also we are paying the price in terms of जुगाड़, whether we're paying or not, that leave it. But in terms of focus, we are paying massive price because of what Lakshman has done or what Lakshman has been. So just look at the word. Laksh plus man. Lakshman. When your man is on your Laksh, your Sita is safe. The problem is हमारा मन लक्ष्य के ऊपर नहीं होता है. So that's the reason why GJ, as you said, goal is very, very critical. When the goal is there, Sita is safer. All right. So that's about the thing. Now let's get into some doable parts. So now what happens by that? The more you think, the poor you become. क्योंकि आपके पास में 10 लाख है या 20 लाख है, इतना सोचेंगे तो क्या हो जाएगा. And people get into a stage which people fondly say कि पता ही नहीं चला यार. People are having a conversation, they're having coffee, 300 ml hot piping coffee पी लिया, पता ही नहीं चला. People say नोएडा से गुड़गांव आ गया, पता ही नहीं चला. I mean, are they on drugs? कैसे पता नहीं चला, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? I mean, this is very, very strange. All of us are stretching the luck too much. We are behind the wheel, and okay, if it is US or Saudi Arabia, we can say कि 200 kilometers car चल रहा है, पता नहीं चला. India, we still got something we call as COW, cow. पता नहीं कहाँ से बीच रोड में आ जाता है. But then if you are saying पता ही नहीं चला, that means we are lucky we still driving around without Sita in head. So the simple thing is conserve Sita, do whatever it takes. I'll give some ideas at the end very quickly, but let me give you some ideas. The first thing which you can do is worry pad. So now I'm getting into doable action steps which you can do, and these are very, very powerful steps. And let me tell you, these steps are worth $1 million. I am not overemphasizing. When you use them, you will know that it's worth over $1 million. All right, so let me share with you and how powerful it is. You will know it yourself. The first one is called worry pad. Worry pad is a simple tool which can be a small scribbling pad, which is pocketable size, small pocket size scribbling pad. And what you got to do in that? Very simple. Always keep that handy, and you just can write anything which comes into the head which is not relating to the work at hand. Not relating to the work at hand. आपको जो भी thought आता है उसमें आप लिख सकते हैं. Example, I am doing a PowerPoint presentation. Suddenly I get a thought कि यार कल ना वो dry cleaning को call करके उसको वाट लगाना यार, नहीं दिया jacket, नहीं दिया उसने. It has nothing to do with the PowerPoint. Or oh, I should send a file to Penang. It has nothing to do with the PowerPoint. So what we should do is when something is coming up which is not getting onto the PowerPoint, onto the work, so we can just simply write it down. Now, what will happen because of that? Now, because of that, you will free your Sita. Normally, क्या होता ना, हम लोगों को ये फोमो, अपने मैनेजर में फोमो के बारे में बताया था, तो हम लोगों को ये लगता कि यार अभी नहीं करेंगे ना, तो बाद में भूल जाएंगे हम लोग. अभी थॉट आया उसके ऊपर एक्ट करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अगर बाद में भूल गया तो ये प्रॉब्लम होता है. अगर आपने उसको निकाल के बाहर कर दिया ना, तो यू आर क्लियरिंग योर स्पेस. You are clearing your Sita there, and the document is there with you, and you are not getting out of it, and you are not letting your mind think about it. So you'll have this proper thing कि यार हाँ ठीक है ये यहाँ पर लिख लिया तो it is safe. All right, so that's called worry pad. And self only one precaution you have to take on this, and that is when you do a worry pad, आपके काम जो भी खत्म हो गया, please come back to worry pad and finish off that work which is written there. So when I say finish it, I'm not meaning that you have to do it. Either you do it, you delete it, you put it in the calendar, you take some action on it. Otherwise, it amounts to cheating. Mind ने आपको कुछ बोला, हाँ जी मनी जी बताइए.
Sorry, I caught you in between. But
No,
something very interesting came to my mind.
Please
ये
go
worry
ahead.
pad का सोच रहे थे. So
हाँ जी.
anything which is coming to your mind other than what you're focusing on currently is your worry pad.
Right.
अभी डिस्ट्रैक्शन लेवल इतना हाई हो चुका है अपन सबका कि पता चला कि हम वरी पैड पे ज्यादा टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हैं और जो एक्चुअल काम है वो कम हो रहा है.
Okay, I get that. If you are doing that, very good, no problem. You know why? Because at least now you are realizing that you are going out of the range. And आपको देखते देखते क्या हो जाएगा, आपका वरीज कम होना शुरू हो जाएगा. आप आज से शुरू करेंगे, कम शायद आपको 15 आएगा, 20 आएगा, and जैसे आप when some days move on, the mind will know कि यार इसको डिस्टर्ब करके कोई फायदा नहीं है, ये बुक ओपन करेगा फिर लिख देगा उसमें. So mind also will be behaving itself. So the simple thing which you have to do is जो आपने लिखा है उसको ऑनर करना है. So let's say for example I get a thing कि अच्छा I'm just giving जीजे just a fun example, ठीक है. So I get a thought कि यार जीजे को बर्थडे को गिफ्ट देना है, वो मैंने लिख दिया. फिर ये नहीं कि मैं गिफ्ट देना है, मैं इसको बाद में सोचना है, अच्छा लास्ट ईयर जीजे ने कुछ नहीं दिया तो इस साल मैं भी नहीं दूंगा. हाँ ठीक है, वो भी एक्शन ले लिया ना मैंने, वो भी जो भी है एक्शन ले लिया मैंने. Or I can go to Amazon, order something, or I can do whatever. But then I have to take some action. By this what I'm doing is I'm communicating to the mind, boss आपने जो दिया मैंने उसके ऊपर act किया. And then this behavior will be wired, and you'll be surprised to see the number of distractions coming on the next days will reduce to a very great extent. All right, so that's a very simple tool but मजेदार है. Second thing I'm going to tell you, this is very, very, very powerful. This has changed a lot of people, and a lot of people got out of addiction. A lot of people got out of impulsive behavior just by doing this. And this is a very powerful thing which I call as 10-second pause. 10-second pause. Now, what you have to do for 10-second pause, very simple. Any call to action in your life. So let's take, any call to action. It can be you want to drink tea. It can be you want to call somebody, you want to book an Uber, you want to call a client, you want to open a PowerPoint, you want to read a book, you want to sip coffee, you want to go to the washroom, you want to switch off the AC. It can be anything. Any call to action, any call to action, just wait for 10 seconds before you take action. That's it. Just wait for 10 seconds before you take action. And you will love this one. The amount of power which will come back to you is unbelievable. Unbelievable power. Now, what happens in this 10 seconds? Any idea? Anyone want to share? Yes. Yeah, GJ, you want to say something?
Maybe we rethink whether we should really do this or not.
Absolutely. Now, what happens is things are running in the mind as a matter of fact. हमको पता भी नहीं चल रहा कि हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं. And we are drinking water and पता नहीं चल अरे पानी खत्म हो गया.
कुछ चीजें बाय डिफॉल्ट एकदम से हम करते हैं कि जैसे एक आवाज आई तो एकदम से हमने ऐसे देखा. तो
perfect चीज. So what is happening is default mode में आप बिना सोचे काफी चीज हम लोग करते हैं. Default mode में करते हैं. यहाँ आकर हम लोग conscious mode में करते हैं. और what other things happen is for this 10 seconds in life, you will touch something called the planet Earth. कहां पर भी आपका दिमाग घूम रहा होगा ना, अब वापस आएंगे धरती पर ये 10 सेकंड के लिए. And when you're operating from here, the chances are you will make lesser mistakes. All right. And you have to understand one thing. The brain don't care. I'm talking about the physical brain. Yeah. The brain don't care why you're doing what you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you'll become an expert. So now what you're doing is you're training yourself to come back. So your brain will become an expert in coming back to the current place easily. So just by giving a small gap, you'll have a lot of things. So let me give an example. So I don't want to take the name of the person. You guys may know this guy. So this guy is works in Cyber Hub, gets a very good salary. And one day he called me. He was my friend also. He's my friend still. He says, Anand, yaar, mujhe na ek problem hai. मैं बोला बताओ. He says, see, when people have a problem, they have an interesting way of sharing the things. He says, every day when I come out of my office, my car automatically stops at a wine shop. No, automatically stops. Okay, then, and because my car stops, I go and pick up a bottle and small beer bottle and I drink it. So I said, what's your problem? He says, I do it every single day. And his problem is, I mean, he's getting probably 2.5 lakh salary, I don't know, whatever salary, 6,000 is no big deal. And if you say, tell him, yaar, Sunday hai, party kar lete, he will not do that. He don't drink with friends. The only thing is every day he has to drink one small bottle. That's his weakness. And his soul is not accepting. It's not a problem because health is not a problem, money is not a problem, car driving is not a problem. Ek beer kuch bhi nahi karega. I mean, that was a half beer. But his soul is not accepting, but he's not able to control. I said, okay, he's asked me, can I do something? I said, it's a very simple thing. When your car automatically stops, can you just stop for 2 minutes before you get out of the car? So uske liye 2 minutes ka tha, because that's an addiction thing. So I said, 2 minutes ke baad agar peena hai, to maine bola, शौक से पी लो, क्या problem है? 2 minutes के बाद करो ना, it's okay. They said, okay, cool. Then maybe about 50, 60 days, 2 months later, he called me and he said that 70% of the time he stops the car and in less than 2 minutes he drives off. Why? Because most of the things we do as an impulse. क्योंकि वो दिख रहा है मुझे पीने का मन करेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ पर है मुझे खाने का मन करेगा. अगर मैं 2 सेकंड के लिए वेट करूंगा तो मुझे पता है कि यार ये अभी खाने से गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. बट देन वो हम नहीं रुकते क्योंकि आपने जो चीजें आपने बोला था ना कि हम लोग डिफॉल्ट मोड में रहते हैं.
Right.
Default mode is no thinking at all. जो है वो go with the flow. Just by giving yourself a 10 seconds gap, amazing power will come back and your anger will go back, your impulsiveness in shopping, in eating, in buying things will go down.
I think it's about trigger जो होते हैं ना एकदम से चीजें trigger. So immediately you have to take an action. तो
Exactly. वो खत्म हो जाएगा. So that's a very powerful thing. So you'll get back a lot of power. So this is very powerful. So this is called pause. Next one is instant reply.
So this is like हमें अपनी इंद्रियों पे कंट्रोल करना है, हिंदी में जो बोलते हैं ना.
हाँ, so वो बहुत बड़ी बात हो जाता है. If you can stop for 10 seconds, वो जो बोल रहे हैं ना रिजल्ट वो आएगा. लेकिन अब वहां से काम करेंगे ना, it looks like a hell of a task. But if you just stop for 10 seconds, your willpower also goes higher. Now let's say my friend is messaging me and I wait for 10 seconds, it is like willpower, willpower, if not anything else. Then I can decide whether to go or not to go. नहीं तो मैं कॉल करूंगा, देखूंगा अच्छा जाना, हाँ चलो चलते हैं, फिर I go and repent कि यार मैंने क्यों आया. This kind of things happen. But if you just wait for 10 seconds, probably you'll make lesser mistakes in life. All right. And that actually eats a lot of energy. And unknowingly, we spend a lot of energy in that. Okay. So this is a 10-second pause. The next one I want to share is no instant reply. For God's sake and your sake, please don't send instant replies to your friends, your employees, anybody. I'm not saying don't send replies at all. I'm saying just wait at least 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on the intensity of the message. Do not send messages instantly. People actually wait on attack mode. What I mean by attack mode is like this. They're on the keyboard. Achha, come, who's sending message? And people also take pride. There are some of my friends who used to say, before you get a delivery, those days you used to get a delivery message. All right. Before you get a delivery message, you will get my reply. I'm so prompt. And I was also like that. And I was taking so much pride in that until one day when I was in Malaysia, one guy called me and he said, Anant, uska kya hua? Anant, uska kya hua? Kiska kya hua? Dono blank hai. Uska kya hua? I mean, what is that? So then he said, kiske बारे में बात करो? Mail किया ना मैंने. अच्छा, mail किया है? कब किया? यार 2 मिनट हो गए यार. So 2 मिनट हो गया, he is not able to hold on to it. Now why? It is not his mistake. It's my mistake. Because I have trained him, telling him that मेरे delivery report आपको जाने से पहले मेरा reply आ जाएगा आपको. So you're raising the expectation. And you know what happens is the worst thing, people don't understand. A lot of people actually do under table activity, meaning you're talking with the CEO or whatever and you're checking the messages under the table. And at that time, you get some message like Radhe Radhe. How would you feel? I'm not saying anything negative about it, but then, the whole concentration will go for a toss. And one more thing is, the moment you send a reply, your message says online. And लोगों का perception ये है कि अगर online है तो वेला है. They don't know what we are doing. So, and you know what I do? I'm not saying you do it all the time. At least when you're in work, please wait, give a small delay. Now again, let's take Gija as an example. Is that okay? So let's say Gija sends.
I was about to take my own example. My wife says you are online, but you are not replying to me.
Okay, so that needs a different kind of strategy. Okay.
Yeah, please do that.
Right. So let's say Jesus says hi, and I reply hi. How are you? Then the conversation. Then there's a communication which happens. Not chatting. It's a passage work will happen. But let's say I say hi and Jesus don't reply. Or 5 minutes he replies hi. The heat is gone. अगर वो immediately reply करेंगे, मैं पूछूंगा कहाँ पर हो जीजे? Then he say यार I'm in a जीतो meeting. अच्छा जीतो में भी है? हाँ जी है. अच्छा जी ये है वो बात चलेगा. And now after 5 minutes he says hi, then I may or may not ask anything. I may ask जीजे कहाँ पर हो? After 2 minutes he says जीतो meeting. मैंने बोला जनाब शायद आप busy हो, बाद में बात करते हैं. खत्म हो गया. The heat is gone. I'm not saying don't be in touch with the people. I'm only saying that you have to use your DAD, defense against distractions, is very, very powerful, very important. All right. The next one is reflection. Please do some reflection. Now that will help. Now that will help in going a long way. So let's very quickly see the time. Okay. Is it okay to take another 5-6 minutes?
Yes, you can continue. You can continue, Anand.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So another 5-6 minutes because we started late. So let me give you some.
So you are live on YouTube and we are recording also.
Oh, sure. Great. Okay, so let's look at the other stuff. Let's get into some ideas on getting into a peak state. When you want to perform at a different level, how you can do their simple steps which you can do. You don't have to do shake heaven and earth as I was talking about. Simple stuff. So now I'm going to tell you a lot of simple bullet stuff which you can do, which is very, very easy. The first thing which you can do is recall. practice recall. Now, what I mean by practice recall is, ab soch ke recall karo. I mean, you finish a meeting, think about what has happened in the meeting. You read a book, think about what has happened in the book. Recall karo. At the end of the day, you recall. The magic is when you recall, there are a lot of things will happen. Apart from that, your focus is concentrated on one single area. First part. Second thing, your recall muscles will be stronger, so you'll be able to recall things whenever you want to in future. क्योंकि आपको recall का आदत पड़ा है. So recall is one simple focus building activity which not only builds your focus, which also builds your memory. But because of the time constraint, I'm not able to tell you why it impacts memory. But let me tell you, I'm a memory expert. So recall is one of the best exercises to take the memory to the next level. Of course, focus also goes higher. The second one is reflect. One is recall, second is reflect. Now, reflection will make sure you make lesser mistakes in future. Now, there's this ad, I'm sure you might have seen this Seat ad, all right, where there's this guy with a baby trolley crossing the road and a car comes up and then, you know, usko car wale ko gaale ulta milega. So, I mean, this guy will do the same thing tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next day, next month, next year, because he didn't even realize that it has happened. All right. So, एक बार वो घर जाकर reflect करता ना, so next time when he is crossing the road where the baby is there, baby is not there, he will not make that stupid mistake. Now, why people, there's a very good saying, people say the first time you do something wrong is a mistake, second time is a choice. Maybe every time is a mistake because you don't even know that you've done a mistake. जब reflection करेंगे तब तो पता चलेगा ना mistake हुआ नहीं हुआ. So that's the thing there. All right, the next one is simply breathe. Now, this may look like oversimplification, but I can tell you this is the time, especially COVID time or current time, where people are more stressful. Breath is a savior. Are we not breathing? Of course, we're breathing, but please focus on scientific breathing, and you can do pranayam, whatever thing that, I mean, I don't want to get into the details, but you know what? Just by breathing properly, your depression will go out, your immune system will go higher, your focus will be back, and there are 200 other things. So one simple thing which you can practice is, it's called 1:2 breathing. Now, what is 1:2 breathing? 1 breath in, 2 breaths out. It's not 1 second, it's 1 count. So it can be like 1, 2 in and 1, 2, 3, 4 out. So look at your comfortable breath, whatever is your ratio, 1:2, and for 2 minutes a day, twice or thrice, just step it up. अगर मेरा 2-4 मेरा कंफर्टेबल रेट है, 2 मिनट के लिए मैं 3-6 करूंगा. If 3-6 is comfortable, for 2 minutes I'll do 4-8. And you know what? Conscious breathing is one of the most difficult things to do. Breathing हम करते हैं. जब आप conscious breathing कर रहे हो ना, what the magic which happens is, जो भी आपके mind में audio video चलता है ना, वो बंद हो जाता है suddenly. You can check it out yourself. When you do deep breathing, you cannot think of anything else because your focus is on the breath, and that helps you a lot. So simple breath, 1:2, twice a day will go a very long way. Not only your focus will go higher, your immune system and everything. There are too many other things which are there which will help. The next one is relax. Please relax. Anytime you're having a negativity, anytime you're frustrated, anytime you're worked up, the first thing which will happen to you in your life is you will lose yourself. You will lose yourself. So the moment you relax, you will gain yourself back. So please don't take things too seriously, just relax. Now that's a very powerful tool. Now a lot of people take vacation once in 3 months, once in 6 months, go and relax. Now why don't you relax on a daily basis? You don't need to go on vacation. Good money saving tip, huh? Okay, all right. But then, yeah, it works. I mean, you still go for vacation, but that's like pure pleasure. But you got to relax every single day. And just be relaxed. The world is not going to end. If the world ends, fantastic. All the problems sorted out, right? Anyway, so let's move on. And the third one I want to tell you is learn. Learn something every single day. Commitment to lifelong learning. Now, why is because, you know, if you take mind power is like a fire. The mind power is like fire, and this fire can be fed only by learning. And it is easy to feed the fire than starting a new fire again. So to keep your mind power up, learn something on a daily basis. That will give you a very long way. It's a very good mental exercise also. Then other one is unclutter your life. Unclutter your drawer, unclutter your shoe rack, unclutter your cupboard, unclutter your thoughts, unclutter your desktop, unclutter your phone book, unclutter your images, everything unclutter. Now, why you got to unclutter is because everything you are processing is a cost. I've seen some people 2 साल से जो जूता यूज भी नहीं कर रहे वो शू रैक में होगा, हमेशा वो निकालेंगे, उसको पॉलिश करेंगे, रखेंगे या उसको हटा के रखेंगे, and they think they'll not throw simply because यार ये तो अच्छा दिख रहा है, it's still new. It's still new, but it is eating your mental energy. It's a cost. The mental cost is much more higher than the physical cost. So get into uncluttering. The more you unclutter, the more freer you get. The next one I want to talk about on the same lines is please go for minimalism. I am not saying be stingy. I am saying be minimalistic. Spend whatever you want to spend, but on minimum things. The reason behind it is the less you own, the less owns you.
Aparigraha.
Can you hear me?
Aparigraha in Jainism.
Okay, sorry. So
Aparigraha.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for
it is
sharing,
one of
sir.
the principle in Jainism
Okay.
that you keep the things which are minimal, like
Absolutely.
so
Because
make a limit for yourself, like.
and that is not only spiritual, in the physical world also it is so comfortable that your mind will not be messed up. अगर आपके पास में 4 लैपटॉप है, 3 मोबाइल है, 4 सिम कार्ड है, वो दिमाग का दही हो जाएगा वो. Keep as minimum as possible, and I'm not saying you save on money. Maybe you get the best laptop on the planet. Spend 2 crores on the laptop. It's okay if you can spend that kind of money. But then have the minimum things that will make your life more comfortable. Because again, as I'm telling you, Sita. So think of Sita all the time. What all you can do to save your Sita. Next one is get enough sleep. I cannot overemphasize this fact. This is like too much of it. People don't sleep. And if you're not sleeping for 7 hours, you're doing a disservice to yourself. And when people don't sleep, you can go and do a research there. Your mental ability, especially focus, recalling, thinking in novel situations, verbal fluency will go down. It will not only impact the ways you behave, it will actually physically impact the brain in a negative manner. All right, there's a lot of research document which is done, which is time doesn't permit to show, but sleep is very, very critical. All right, and if you're missing out sleep, you're missing out a lot of things in life. The next one is give yourself a very good exercise. Solve jumbles, puzzles, Scrabble, chess. Play games which will tickle your mind, not Candy Crush, Roadrunner, or I don't know, whatever you have, Temple Run or whatever stuff. Not those things. Now, these are the things which will actually help you think, all right, which will tickle your mind. So this is a very good exercise. The next one is meditate. I cannot overemphasize this. Meditation itself can be a solution for a lot of things. Now, apart from all the things which it does, it will take your focus to the next level. Now, focus is one of the things which the meditation will give. It's not the only thing. All right. And it's very, very powerful. And my way of looking at it is very simple. A lot of people try to meditate for a long time and they fail. Now, rather than that, I would always recommend that do lesser meditation, but do more number of times to start with. Instead of sitting for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, which people like, let's say today onwards, I want to start meditation in my life. Last 30 years, 40 years, I have not done. If I go and sit for 30 minutes, I cannot do it. And when people will come and say, yaar, ye to bahut dikkat wali baat hai. Dikkat wali baat isliye kyunki it is not, we are not used to it. 20 minutes के time में 2 minutes meditation करते हैं, 18 minutes frustration होता है कि क्यों meditation नहीं हो रहा है. So इससे अच्छा ये है कि meditate for 2 minutes, good enough. Why do you want more? Meditate for 2 minutes, but do it 2 times a day. Now that will be much more powerful than meditating for 2 minutes and frustrating for 18 minutes. And then you can slowly improve the time. 2 से 3 में जाएं, 3 से 3.5 में जाएं, and there is no rush. You don't have to rush in life. Please, if you have to rush into something, I read a quote, very powerful quote somewhere. The only thing which you have to rush into life is rush into slowing down. अभी बहुत तेज में चल रहा है, इतना तेज अच्छा नहीं है. When you slow down, you tend to focus more. Your focus will be back. All right. So meditate, And the last one I have learned very, very late in my life, physical exercise is very, very important, and spend some time on a daily basis on physical exercise. I have really, really paid a huge price because I did not exercise for a very long time. Now I am finding, earlier it was my style statement that, oh, you know what, I don't have time for exercise. I don't have time. And now if I have a class at 7 o'clock in the morning or a meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning, I wake up at 4:30 and make sure that I do some exercise. And when I did say exercise, I am not saying spend half an hour in gym or 2 hours in gym. I am saying minimum 20 minutes of walking around the block is good enough. 20 minute to 15 minute karo aap. At least something which will qualify as an exercise for the sake of exercise. Please don't say कि अच्छा मैं तो ऑफिस में पैदल जाके आता हूँ ना, वो एक्सरसाइज है. तो आप ऑफिस जाके आ रहे हो एक्सरसाइज के लिए, because the intention is important. The intent, as we were talking about, the intent. Why you're doing it is more important than what you're doing. So you intend and do. Or before going to office, you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to office, but I'm using this as an intention for making exercise. Then the body will give you that result. All right, so these are some of the things which I thought I can share with you, and other things, okay, how you can help me in my mission. So I have got this idea to share with people, which I've been doing for the last 24 years. And what you can do to help me is simple stuff, which I can give you some ideas. One is teach at least 2 people what you have learned today. Now, why you have to teach? There's also a reason which you should have for yourself. Other people learn or don't learn is their problem, their prerogative, their priority. We'll respect that. But when you teach somebody, you will learn better. So that's the reason. So what happens is when you're trying to teach something to somebody, you will actually become better. So teaching is the best way to learn. And I really want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to share this, because I'm sure I've added some value to you, but I have added a lot of value to myself, because you have given me a chance to speak about it. So it's a revision for myself. So that's how people become better. The second thing is invite people for webinars. I do a lot of webinars. Most of them are free webinars. So I'll send you out information. So please invite people, and you can share a recommendation or a testimonial on my Facebook. So that will help to reach out more people. As you're saying in the meeting, पहले आप बोल रहे थे कि अगर एक दूसरे के बारे में बात करेंगे तो reach ज़्यादा होगा, तो वो भी आप कर सकते हैं ताकि I can go and help more people with this knowledge. Or you can invite me in your organization for a talks like this. I can also do that. And I want to stop with this end with this quote, which says, never stop learning, because life will never stop teaching. At this age, a lot of people now learning how to use Zoom. पहले Zoom के बारे में, Zoom का spelling भी पता नहीं था लोगों को. Now people started learning. It has become a lifeline. Now things will happen, and if you're on the learning mode, your flexibility is higher, and you'll be able to do things at a much faster pace. So always you have to be ready to learn, and for that focus is very, very required. And my tagline, which I always say, is if you're not training your brain, you're draining your brain. Now this is the biggest asset. Whatever asset you have in your life, it may be worth 100 crores or 1,000 crores, that has come simply because of the asset inside here. So this asset is what you have to take care and spend some time every day on that. It could be as low as 10 to 15 minutes is good enough. You will not believe the kind of leverage which you will get just by doing that on a daily basis. Very simple stuff. So these are my coordinates. You can always get in touch with me for either one-to-one sessions or corporate sessions or anything. So I'm here for any questions. So any questions you can ask.
Yeah, please. My question, can you take that slide of Buddha quickly?
Okay. So Buddha की slide में वो बोल रहा था कि actually क्या है ना, when people
Distraction. आपने कहा था distraction is by choice.
Right. Exactly.
So यहाँ पे अगर बुद्धा का आप एक मिनट स्लाइड ले आएंगे,
हाँ.
तो it compelled me to distract, not by choice. It compelled me to distract. Why?
हाँ ठीक है. So again,
यहाँ पे जो नहीं, let me complete sir. यहाँ पे जो स्वास्थ्य बना हुआ है वो उल्टा बना हुआ है.
Oh wow.
It compelled me to distract.
Amazing.
So आप इसको क्या कहेंगे इसको? इस distraction को क्या कहेंगे आप? ये मेरी choice तो नहीं थी. But I have observed it. तो मेरे को इस distraction हुई बहुत ज्यादा.
Okay, मैं आपको बताऊंगा, अगर आपने वो उसको देख भी लिया और वो impact नहीं हुआ ना, then you are in control. But आपने देख के अगर if you got lost into it, then it has impacted on you. It is not about whether anybody else is able
No,
to catch it.
I have taken on my ThinkPad, not on worry
That's
pad.
it. Then fine,
It's
then
my
fine.
ThinkPad.
So you have overcome the distraction immediately. That's a beautiful thing. So क्या है ना कि लोग sometimes what happens, maybe this kind of errors does happen and people get stuck to it and उसके आगे नहीं जा पाते हैं. So that is where people get lost. So
नहीं,
आपने
मैं
जो
आगे
किया,
चला गया था, मैं नोट कर
हाँ,
लिया
आपने आगे
मैंने.
चले गए, आपने लिख के आगे चले गए. This is exactly what I want, and thank you for being a live demonstration, sir. And this is what exactly happens when you write down things. It will help you to go forward. क्योंकि आप उसको पकड़ के नहीं रखते हैं. अगर आप नहीं लिखते ना, शायद कि आपका माइंड वहां stuck होता है, and then you will not be able to focus. And just by writing, your mind will be free to go ahead and still discuss.
Yeah.
Amazing, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, please.
Absolutely wonderful. So, any question?
Anant,
Hanji.
can we circulate these slides to the other members who missed it because they were distracted by other things, not focused?
Actually, if you look at my slides, the slides have nothing there. आप slide उसको circulate भी करेंगे ना, उसमें कोई फायदा नहीं होगा unless
I
they
think
have.
it would be better we can share the YouTube recording.
Yeah, YouTube
साथ
recording
में
is
आवाज
there,
भी जाएगी.
so we can share that any which way. So we can share that. Now the question, Anand, I started using WorryPad when you taught me about this 2 years
Yes,
ago.
I know. And you are.
But after that, after 1 or 2 months, actually, as Maniji said, the WorryPad become a worry because there was too much of worry inside the WorryPad that it become another worry. So
Okay.
how to overcome that?
I said ThinkPad.
All right.
ThinkPad.
ThinkPad.
Even the word also, I like the word. Instead, probably we should put the worry pad as think pad. And too much of thinking is never a worry, but too much of worry is a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing. And second thing is, if that is the case, then you have to sit down and realign. Probably you're trying to chew too much than you can handle.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, that you are right. That is
Absolutely.
why I will enroll with you again because I think that there are too many. Because I read the Mark Mention book also. I think he also told the same thing, that stick to one thing, but somehow it is very difficult. So I want to learn how to do that.
Sure, sir. And you can start with small things. You don't have to do a big thing. You can start with small things. I think Sanjay ji has raised a hand.
Yes.
So Sanjay ji.
No, sir, it was by mistake. I wanted to write something in chat.
Okay,
Sorry.
great. No worries, sir. No worries. It's always a pleasure to have some interaction, even if it's an accident.
Anand ji,
Hanji.
I have no question, but I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. I was super interested in what you were teaching.
Thank you.
I'm a coach myself, तो कुछ बातें तो मुझे भी पता है, but the way you've presented, the way you've dissected, and the way you've delivered, it was great to be a part of your audience.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine, and on behalf of all participants, I mean, I was too intrigued by what you were teaching. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thanks for being wonderful audience. So that's always the impact will be from there.
Anand, it is really great revising your this thing. I have attended a couple of your courses and I'm really excited that I'm so glad that I made it today. And it was a surprise that you are here. And there are a lot of things which I have revised. So thank you so much.
Pleasure, Jijay. It's always pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Rishabh ji, for inviting me. And in this short span, I thought I did some justice for time, and I hope you got some result.
Thank you, Anand, and thank you to give us this opportunity to listen to you. And it was really a great learning for all of us. And the focus today is the real big thing which everyone is missing, because the world is focusing only on one thing which is not visible.
True.
But it is invisible, but it is deadly. So everybody is focusing on that. So I think we will be able to focus on something which is more important for us: our health, our immunity, and our community. So I always say that WFH means work from home and work for health.
Okay,
so
good.
Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. So we will expect you that you will have will organize a All India session now.
Sure.
Once this was a chapter level. Now
Sure.
the YouTube video is there, and we will definitely would love that you address a larger audience out there. And
I would
give
love
us
that.
some detailed session, maybe 2 hours session, so that
Sure,
we can
sure.
learn that.
Sure,
Thank you
definitely.
very much. Thank you for being with us, and it is our pleasure. I would
Thank you,
request
sir.
Sanjay ji to please do a formal vote of thanks for our meeting today. Our
Good
Chief
evening,
Secretary
everyone.
from Jito Gurugram.
Good evening, everyone. It was really a pleasure to listen to Anand ji. And as his name goes, Anand, he virtually has unlimited knowledge about the memory and the focus subject. And the way he is presented, and the little crispy knowledge that he has for some certain words, that's amazing. And these are regular things that we do in our life. But to understand the basics of such small letters, and the like you in one of the slides you mentioned dad. Dad is distracting from the
Defense against distraction.
yeah. So that was excellent, and like these mediums we can use for in our regular conversation with our children, with our colleagues, with our work areas also. And
In
you are
fact,
very
just
specific.
okay, I just heard one thing which actually got my attention. The kids. So what I can definitely do for Jito is I can do a talk which is called "How to Become a Top Student," which is exclusively for the kids, and they will get the next level information in that, which most people don't even can think of how easy it can be to get score and learn. So learning is very, very critical, and most people don't know the how part. And I got very good technology on how people can learn effectively. And then this is for the students. Even though it's for students, everybody will be benefited, I'm sure.
Okay.
So maybe
Thank you, sir.
should you
I am also a student.
We all are
Learning.
student today.
Yeah.
We all are student learning very basics from Anand ji, from his one of the widest the think tank. And I hope everyone has enjoyed this session. And though I was not there on the video, but I was listening all your sessions, sir. It has been really a mesmerizing and thought-provoking session for us. And as Rishabh Bhai has said, and all hats off to Rishabh Bhai for bringing you in our chapter. And we would certainly like to have more opportunities, and we would like to enroll more people to listen to you. And
I think
on
one
behalf of the
important
chapter, I
thing which
thank you. Part of
one
it.
important thing which I missed about Anand, that Anand has got 2 Limca record in his under his belt, and his people who have been trained by him has also won Limca records. So
Yes,
that's a wonderful thing.
I have trained people to get Limca records as well.
So he is a memory guru. So today our focus was on focus, but next time we can have a memory also, because that is also very much important thing.
Sure, sure. Anytime, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much, sir. Thank you for being so encouraging for us. Thank you. We'll certainly use your knowledge in our day-to-day life, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
And thank
And
you,
thank you,
Sanjay ji
everyone.
and Rishabh
Thanks,
bhai,
Anand.
for organizing this whole program.
Thank you.
It's always great. And Anant bhai का तो मैंने full day का program भी attend करा हुआ है. He is really amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I fully agree with that. I think all time, every time we listen to him, it looks like he has got so many things that we should keep on listening.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
I
today's
think if
program
you
was
give
really a
10%
mind
we can do,
opener.
our life
Thank
will
you,
change.
Anandji.
So he justifies his name. That's Anant. Anant is unlimited.
Sudhir ji want to say something. Sudhir Jaini ji.
I'm saying that, it has been a lovely program today. It's really mind opener actually. हम लोग बहुत टाइम डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं और हमारे को समझ में नहीं आता हम कैसे फोकस करें.
Right. काफी refreshing session रहा.
हाँ,
Thank you.
बहुत engrossing session था.
Yes.
Thank you, Anand bhai.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anandji. Thanks, Rishabh bhai.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye all.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
आ जाओ.